The thing about the house is I've been thinking about doing an energy efficient house forever. My background is in mechanical engineering and aeronautical engineering, and my specialty is failure analysis, using computer simulations. So I do really have a lot of experience with what goes wrong and why it goes wrong and then how to fix it. And I've thought about dome houses. I've always wanted to do the Southwest because I've been coming out to the Southwest ever since I was a teenager. And somewhere along the line, I started really thinking about straw bale, really liking the idea of straw bale. And when Faith and I got married and we started talking about building a house, she really liked the thickness of the walls, the sense of solidity. We went and visited them in Tucson and the peacefulness. Then I started thinking about other things like, I have bad allergy problems. And I started thinking about pigments and paints and ceramic surfaces to coat it with that would all be non-toxic and hypoallergenic. And then I started thinking about setting up the house so there's no moving air, so that all the heat's from the floor. And one thing led to another, and it just eventually came together. And then I started thinking, wouldn't it be really nice if it looks like a normal house and it's easy to insure and it just fits into a neighborhood, and yet it's super energy efficient and maintenance free. And that's what I ended up with, was a design that really satisfied all those criteria. I read everything on straw bales and virtually everything on regenerative housing over the years. So I read all the stuff, and when I decided on straw bale, I really focused on literally everything written on straw bale and peripheral to straw bale, like natural plaster and stuff. And there's a lot of good books. The other thing is, though, there's a lot of options missing. It tends to be one person does it this way, another person does it this way and changes one thing, another person does it that way, changes one more thing. There's a lot of trial and error, and the way they tend to do it is the way they tend to keep doing it if it doesn't fall down. When I took a look at it, it was clear to me from the very beginning that there were places to absolutely just optimize the basic structure, just how to optimize the structure, and then how to optimize the key ancillary aspects like breathability, things that actually make the structure last forever. But there was so much information missing on, okay, you want to build a straw bale house. People pretty much talk about how do you put straw bales together, and how do you tie them together, and how do you cinch them together, and what's the plaster on them. And what they ignore to a very large extent is what's the rest of the house interfacing with the straw in a comprehensive way. And that's what I really focused on. I took like over 5,000 pictures of virtually every day of the build, everything from how do you tie that straw wall into that interior wall, and how do you shim walls to the trusses, and just millions of little details. So the one thing I did was I created a photo journal that shows you day by day, takes you by the hand, this is what it's like to go from clearing a lot to finishing a house. And so it's useful for people building straw bales. It's useful for anybody who just wants to build their own house for the first time and really get a sense of what's involved, how long it takes, how much personal effort's involved, when it's a good idea to just hire crews as opposed to do it yourself. If you want to do it to yourself, there's a lot of information on ways to make that easier. Like just how do you raise a wall by yourself? And how do you post a beam house by yourself? When they're 300-pound beams. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Every chapter is broken into a major piece of building the house, like maybe just the cabinetry or just the actual structure or just the straw. And the first 3 or 4 pages of every chapter is a discussion of why did I choose to do it the way I did do it? Why did I pick this silicon paint versus natural plaster? Why did I do this kind of heating system? Why did I choose this? And there's suggestions too. There's products that I discovered that really people ought to know about that it's surprising they don't know about. I found one particular heater that just lasts forever. It won't rust. It's fiberglass. It's so well insulated that you can just touch it and it feels cool to the touch. It's extremely efficient. And even the people that sell water heaters don't know about these things, and yet they're made by a major manufacturer. So there's a lot of little things like that in the book. I don't think this book takes the place of the other books. I think this is the book you should read first. It shows you pictorially and describes day by day by day what you have to do. It gives you a sense of the magnitude of each job. It gives you a sense of how each of the separate applications and operations interact with each other. There's a million things that just show you, instead of tell you, to show you what is entailed. And I think it's the book I wish I had to begin with, to just really lay it all out for a person. I think what this book offers is some unique solutions to specialized issues that haven't been considered before, and mostly shows comprehensively what it's like to build the house beginning to end.